Joint supplements. The good, bad, and useless. The science behind ingredients commonly found in joint supplements. By Dr. David F. Davenport, DVM, MS, CNS. Dr. Jim Blackford, DVM, MS, DACVS. Dr. Michael R. Bishop, MD, PhD, FACOG. Edited into layman's terms by Terry Mercer. Copyright 1998, 2000, 2004, 2006, 2008, 2010, 2015, 2017. The number of products claiming to help joint pain has grown rapidly over the last 30 years. You cannot avoid the ads claiming that this product, or that one, is some magic bullet or miracle cure, or will eliminate joint problems, or cure arthritis, or be a liquid joint replacement. Take a moment to step back and think, to ask questions, and do a little research. Although the following article is geared toward people and their specific joint-related problems, the principles and science of nutrition are true for all mammals, people and pets. The basics doesn't need to be magic, just a band-aid, or some other temporary symptom maskerer. First, understand that marketing and advertising claims of it works can have two very different, and often opposed, meanings. The most common type, especially on store shelves, masks the problems, covers the symptoms, blocks the pain. The reality is that all oral supplements offering a quick fix are using ingredients, usually herbs, plant-derived drugs, that merely mask, cover, or block. While they can help with the pain, they ultimately allow the body to continue getting worse, and often further injury or problem. The best long-term option promotes actual healing, by supplying the body the building blocks necessary to help the body heal itself, when possible, in forms it can use. This second option is not the quick fix. It does not eliminate the pain and suffering in hours or days, but over time, as healing occurs. But it is far better for the body. Hint: if you're in pain, use painkillers as prescribed, as necessary, but never daily, for prolonged periods of time. Next, it's important to understand that most all drugs, including most plant-derived counterparts, offer drug activity. Medicinal herbs, in the correct dose, with the correct usage, can be very beneficial, especially in hormonal balances, for a time. However, medicinal herbs, as with all drugs, are seldom ever recommended or prescribed for daily prolonged use by professionals, because the majority of the drugs will result in the RANS, one or more of the following: resistance or immunity. You need more and more to accomplish the same thing. Addiction. Negative interaction with other drugs or treatment processes. Toxic effect, build-up, or overdose, often slowly impacting the liver or kidneys, or even the brain, over months or years. Serious side effects. For this reason, under no circumstances do herbs belong in daily, prolonged supplementation. Just because things are natural doesn't mean that they are natural to the body or that they are good. Natural isn't always safe or necessarily any better than the synthetic versions. This is contrary to a lot of companies' marketing and what a number of people will attempt to tell you. The negative effects may take days, weeks, months, and sometimes even years. A lot depends on the individual body, the quantity taken, a person's diet and exercise routine, as well as any other drugs and supplements being used, quality of the ingredients ingested, and the specific herbs used, as well as where it came from, and how it was sourced, produced, and processed. The one thing that is certain is that every single drug in existence, whether natural or synthetic, drugs will eventually cause one or more of the above four problems if they are overused, misused, or abused, when used daily for more than a few days at a time. The use of some herbs can even prove to be life-threatening. For example, a person taking a regular dose of just 10 milligrams of ginkgo biloba cannot undergo certain major surgeries because they could bleed to death. God help them if they were also taking some type of blood thinner, or blood pressure medicine at the same time. Turmeric is another amazing medicinal herb, especially when combined with curcumin and black pepper. But it too is a blood thinner. And too much really can hurt you. Some herbs, drugs, and ingredients have other side effects, problems, concerns, and indicators that most bodies should try to avoid, because of the very real third-party science relating to their long-term use, common misuse, overuse, and abuse. Health and safety should be a valid concern, and worthy of your time to research which company you can trust. There are some herbal ingredients, as well as heavy metals, often found in some minerals, that do not have an immediate effect. They gradually build up in the liver, kidneys, brain, and lungs, until those organs stop working. When choosing a joint supplement, flex product, the first thing you have to decide is: do you just want to make the joints temporarily feel better, or do you want to help solve the problems that are causing the pain? The ingredients most commonly added to joint supplements are there either to mask or cover symptoms, pain or inflammation, not to address the underlying problems that are causing the pain. The reality is that a product intended for daily use, for a prolonged period of time, cannot safely and effectively do both. Drugs, which include most herbs, can quiet pain very quickly and effectively. However, for a body to use the building blocks provided through good nutrition to rebuild tissues, it usually takes 4 to 8 weeks for enough new fluid and tissue to be present for the pain to stop. Even longer for spinal and cartilage issues. We don't enjoy pain, but pain serves a very important purpose. It lets the rest of the body know that something is wrong. When a joint hurts, the natural response is for the other joints to do more of the work and let the painful joint rest. On their own, joints heal very slowly. If a damaged joint is not rested, it will certainly get worse. In addition to not having the joint work as hard, the immune system supplies it with more blood than usual. This extra blood feeds the joint more nutrients so that it can repair faster. This natural healing process causes pain, inflammation, and swelling, results in actual symptoms. However, trauma is not the only way joints get damaged. Normal use over time can lead to degeneration and breakdown. Running, jumping, pounding, carrying heavy loads, and normal daily movement all accelerate joint problems. Degenerative changes cause the normally smooth cartilage to become rough. Due to a loss of chondrocytes, the cells that make cartilage, fluid and connective tissues for the joint. When this happens, they do not produce normal synovial fluid or connective tissue, and pain becomes a symptom. In traditional medicine, immediate masking of pain is accomplished through the use of drugs that are placed in the body either orally or by injection. These drugs, including herbal ingredients, which are really plant drugs, change the way the body normally functions, so pain is not recognized, or the immune system stops the inflammatory response, which, in fact, slows the healing process. The main types of prescribed drugs used are steroids, such as cortisone or prednisone, and NSAIDs, nonsteroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, such as banamine, phenylbutazone, ibuprofen, ketofen, or aspirin, or other drugs that alter the recognition of pain or interfere with the immune response. Steroids and NSAIDs may cause joints to deteriorate faster than if these drugs had not been used. These chemicals interfere with how tissues are made and how they heal. Since the pain is masked, they play a role in how the workload is divided among joints, slowing the healing process and increasing the risk of further injury. Some of these drugs also decrease the joint's ability to use sulfur, which gives connective tissue its elastic strength. Many of the flex products on the market contain herbs, which do not contribute nutrients, building blocks, to the joint tissues. Don't be fooled by the words all natural or organic. Remember, there are many poisons found in nature. Since plants can't fight off insects or animals that want to eat them, many used as herbs contain chemicals. And these chemicals are their defense mechanism, which causes changes in the way the predator's body works. These chemicals do many different things. Some act like the animal's own hormones, like steroids, and many actually attack the body's immune system. Depending on the specific plant, the amount eaten, and the size and type of animal or person, ingestion of herbs and their chemicals can cause death, abortions, seizures, or an altered activity of the nervous system. Herbs can also be used as antibiotics and antifungals, because they can also kill bacteria and fungus. Some of the most common herbs used in joint products and the type of chemicals they contain are Yucca. Yucca contains steroid saponins. These chemicals are related to the steroids. In the animal's body they decrease pain and inflammation. They also decrease the immune response. And steroids have been shown to slow the production of glycosaminoglycans, GAGs, which are a major component of joint tissues. The main use of yucca in animal feeds has been to promote feed efficiency and growth. And it's commonly overused in feedlots, because it lowers the amount of ammonia in the manure, so that it won't smell as bad. Science has proven that animals with daily prolonged use of yucca have joints that appear to age much quicker. But because these animals have a limited life expectancy, the results are ignored. For livestock, it probably doesn't matter, but for people, human joints, it should absolutely matter. Bosweillia, white willow's bark, and snake root, these are all herbs containing chemicals that act as NSAIDs. These drugs decrease pain and inflammation and are known to cause severe gastrointestinal, GI, problems such as ulcers. These drugs should not be used in people or animals with GI problems. Remember that gastric ulcers, digestive problems, are already common because of our fast food diets, junk food, alcohol, sodas, and irregular eating habits. Devil's claw. This herb contains several chemicals that are reported to decrease pain. They do not decrease inflammation and are similar in structure to steroids. Warning: this herb should not be used with any female, human or animal, as it has been reported that it can cause abortions by stimulating uterine contractions. There is over 4,000 years of evidence, in Chinese medicine, of this herb being used to terminate pregnancies. Bromelain. This is an enzyme found in pineapples. It has been shown to reduce the amount of swelling present in some experimental animals. However, bromelain can enter the body intact because it eats away the outer lining of the GI tract. Something anybody with digestive issues should absolutely avoid. In cancer patients, it has been shown to stimulate the body's own immune system to kill the body's own cells. Since it is a protein, it can cause allergic reactions. People who merely handle bromelain have become allergic to it. Glutamic acid, glutamate or glutamine, while this is not an herb, it should be mentioned because of its role as an excitatory amino acid, EAA, and because it's actually used in some joint supplements. When this amino acid is added to a brain, it causes seizures. Higher than normal concentrations are present in the brain of seizure patients. Research is being done to see whether blocking its activity will help control seizures. It is also being considered as an antidepressant drug, because it is a synaptic inhibitor. This amino acid is also naturally released by joint nerves to signal pain, and essentially leave breadcrumbs for the brain to send more nutrients to the right spots, to begin the healing process. Science has shown that the more glutamate that is released, the more pain that is felt, especially in the injured joint region. There is science that shows glutamic acid, which was used in a few joint supplements marketed here in the USA, can cause increased nervousness, and even hyperactivity, and some pretty serious mood swings, in high doses. When overused, or misused, or used as at least one of the company's labels suggested, that company's marketing and advertising touted a 5-day cure. But as of 2015, we believe they either changed or discontinued that product, or toned down their misleading advertising, as we've not seen or heard much about it. Injecting a joint directly with glutamic acid, produces pain, because this amino acid is naturally released by joint nerves to signal pain. A popular Flex product contains glutamic acid, because it says that it is a precursor to glucosamine. However, caution is given here because a review of some products containing this ingredient in a popular publication discusses its dramatic and swift change in attitudes. We agree, pain may be blocked, and attitudes will change, but not for the reasons they claim. And not because any healing has occurred, or actual improvement made. Especially not within the hours or a few days. It can balk the pain in most mammals. But there is none, science that demonstrates oral supplementation of it helps cause, promote, or speed healing. Just that it's an effective synaptic inhibitor, pain blocker. With radio-tagged components being found in the spinal column and brain stem, not the joints. Research is currently being done to determine its role in seizures, as well as the signaling of pain. What will prolonged use do? At what levels does this ingredient become dangerous? How addicting is it? Can it alter the body's ability to produce it naturally, or normally? What are the long-term effects when supplied systemically? These are only some of the questions not clearly answered by science over the last couple decades. Since it just started showing up in some joint supplement products, most preaching a quick fix. The only things that are sure. In some bodies, it seems it might help mask pain, but there is zero science showing it helps heal anything. HA injections replenish the synovial fluids, but doesn't do anything with the ligaments, tendons, or cartilage. Except as a side effect of having improved lubrication on that joint. At best, like WD-40 on a squeaky hinge that doesn't treat the rust, frame structure, or door's structural problem. But just adds lubrication, and masks a symptom of the rusty hinge or broken frame, until the hinge starts squeaking again, or finally falls apart. HA injections alone can only help a limited amount of specific and direct joint issues. And generally only those related strictly to the synovial fluid, lubricating fluid. First, it's important to understand how the non-oral, i.e. pure liquid, version of hyaluronic acid, HA, is used. When a doctor uses HA, they generally and usually inject. Note, most HA injections are done IA, interarticular directly in the afflicted joint. Rather than IM, intermuscular, or IV, intervascularly directly in the bloodstream. Positive results are less likely IV, and nearly impossible IM. It's been proven scientifically, tested both in the field and clinically over the last 20 years. So, what about oral HA then? Well, if it's known to be significantly less effective when directly injected into the body via IM and IV, one must rationally ask, how can HA effectively get to the joint going through the digestive tract? Also, molecularly, HA is absolutely larger than chondroitin sulfate, CS, which science has proven only 8 to 10% of the CS can make it into the bloodstream. So, the next question is, how much oral HA do you think actually gets into the system? These aren't new questions. With oral HA studies occurring the last 3 to 20 years by third parties have consistently shown only about 5% can be found to be absorbed in the body. With the majority of that mere 5% being found in the bone marrow and spinal column, and a fractional amount in the synovial fluids. It's important to know that over 90% of the oral HA passes through the system and is found in the poop in less than 24 hours. That makes some dang expensive manure. 2 of the most interesting studies were done by Weider International, one on rats, another on beagles, dogs. The results of both were consistent in what amount of radiotag materials passed through and where the small amount that was absorbed was found, the majority never made it to the joints. Interestingly, all professionals that have actually paid attention to the science inject directly into the joint. To have a direct and real positive impact on the synovial fluid of that joint. Injecting in the joint is the most challenging, dangerous, for a variety of reasons, especially for equine vets. Yet, that is exactly where 99.999% of the HA injections occur by the professionals. Not directly into the bloodstream, not in the muscle, both of which are easier, and seemingly more effective systemically, with many things, but not HA. When science shows the ingredients, the HA doesn't survive, and isn't properly broke down or readily absorbed through the digestive tract, with the vast majority ending up in the poop. The little bit that was taken up, found in the spinal column and brain stem, one should wonder just exactly what it does in the body. It would stand to reason that it should be able to help all joint tissues in the body when injected directly into the bloodstream, yet it doesn't. Therefore, it's not administered that way by the trained professionals. Also, HA is made from rooster combs and bovine eyeballs. While natural to the mammal's body, it is a non-native form, foreign to the body, not designed for food stuff. Excerpt from the review summary: dietary supplements containing HA are not equivalent. Due to the inherent properties of the three major types of HA commercially available as dietary supplement materials, consumers and healthcare professionals need to be aware of the different types of HA and their very large differences in properties, even before ingestion. One source, hydrolyzed chicken sternal cartilage, is clearly unlike native HA. It does not match the real biological properties of native HA, and consequently should not be represented as HA to consumers on product labels. Yet supplement manufacturers regularly use this type of HA for oral application, many claiming it's a miracle. At best, a smaller percentage might be actually used, but not by the actual joints. And upwards of 90% still passes through the body, unused. Again, upon evaluation of where the little bit that remained in the body was actually found, the spinal column and brain stem, it's highly likely, though unsubstantiated, that the effects tend to lean toward COX-2 inhibitors, pain blockers and maskers, like Vioxx and Privicox, and are positively not building blocks or nutrients otherwise considered healing promoters, or agents, regardless. In contrast to drugs, either synthetic or natural, plant-derived. Nutrition is the science of providing an mammal's body the basic building blocks it needs, in forms it can actually use, to help it function properly and to build the different tissues it needs to grow, heal, and survive. The majority of non-traumatic joint problems can be addressed through proper nutritional support. In general, surgery is needed only when a piece of the cartilage, the tissue that covers the ends of the bones in a joint, is loose and needs to be removed, or when the support structures are physically separated and need to be repaired. And the healing period for most joint surgeries are many months, with a daily physical therapy routine required. Nutritional supplements can help the body fight back and heal itself by increasing the production of new tissues, in most other normal cases. Over 70 years ago, it was found that, over time, eating ground-up connective tissues could actually help relieve problems associated with arthritis. So, in the 1950s and 60s, people began to purposefully consume gelatin and cartilage, shark, chicken, bovine, or perna muscle. And these helped some. By the 1970s, scientists began really studying these ingredients and creating actual products. They found, at that time, that the most helpful substances in them were chondroitin sulfates, or type 2 collagen. However, by the 1990s, radio tagging was cost-effective, and it was quickly learned that most, over 70%, of these type of nutrients merely pass through the body, doing nothing. So, about 50 years ago, the research began focusing in on a much smaller, more efficient nutrient, which is the most basic building block of connective tissues and fluids, Glucosamine sulfate. The scientific reality is that the proper nutritional supplements can help connective tissues grow and heal. And there is little to wonder about, if a person actually takes the time to look at the real science behind the ingredients commonly used. Many are truly a waste of money, or give false hope, while some actually do work, either as a painkiller or blocker, and others, fewer, as healing promotion, support, and building blocks. The truth is, there really is no magic bullet oral supplement that does both, and honestly causes the body to heal in hours, or days. As sad as that sounds, any company claiming there is, either is purposefully lying to you, marketing around the truth, or just doesn't know any better. People of all ages who are regularly working, training, exercising, or competing, puts great stress on their joints, can use the additional support. Most athletes, parents, and coaches take great care to protect the outside of a young adult's body to avoid injuries. The same care should be taken inside the joints, whether we are young or old. The joints can absolutely benefit from the right extra nutrients. If joint injury does occur, proper nutritional supplementation is definitely appropriate. As bodies age, joints naturally wear out faster than they are repaired naturally by the body, but only if the proper building blocks exist. Understand, science has proven that whole cartilage and its large components, chondroitin sulfates and collagen, cannot be absorbed well by the body. Though they are still the most popular components in most joint supplements today, because they are cheap and easy to come by for most manufacturers. While large molecules, such as these, can be injected and work very well when actually injected. Most people don't realize that, when taken orally, more than 70% of the chondroitin/collagen ingredients end up in the feces, poop, within 24 hours 100% of the time. Just think about that for a moment. Chondroitin sulfates have a large range in size. Some are 50 times larger than others. Only 8 to 10% of the smallest ones have been shown to get from the gut into the blood intact. Meaning about 90% passes through the body, never making it into the bloodstream, the body's nutrient superhighway. What is fed must be broken down into smaller pieces by the gut, and the pieces that do actually get into the blood must be further broken down to get into the joints. Another concern with these large-sized, mixed animal byproducts, chondroitin or collagen, is that they can also cause allergic responses. And yes, many serious allergic responses have been documented over the last century. Lastly, regarding the chondroitin and collagen byproducts, one should consider the source, where it came from, what type of byproducts it came from, really, and how it was processed, manufactured. But, more importantly, where it was actually manufactured can be even more vital to longevity, health, and safety. Seriously, if we cannot safely drink the water, why would we want any supplements or ingredients in our supplements sourced in those third world countries that often have little to no safety standards, are riddled with unchecked heavy metals, and other common contaminants? MD's Choice does not, and will not, use nutrients sourced from third world countries. In fact, all ingredients come from North America, USA, or Canada with certain amino acids. The other extreme found in some supplements is the promotion of simple amino acids, AAS. Yes, amino acids are the basic building blocks of proteins. And it is very important that the right amount of protein, from the proper sources, is in your food. But providing extra of a particular AA, amino acid, does not mean that more connective tissue will be made. For example, let's say you ordered some boards to put a wall on a barn and, instead of boards, the lumber company delivered a load of acorns. When asked about the acorns, the delivery man uses the reasoning that oak is the best type of wood for your job and that someday, the acorns will grow into trees and can then be used for the lumber you need. Obviously, the acorns will not get your job done. Unfortunately, this logic has been applied to some joint supplements with the same lack of results. Further, all products that promise, and claim, quick results might be experienced are drugs, or medicinal herbal plant-derived drugs. They are actually masking the symptoms, merely blocking pain, and are not a solution. But in reality can help make things worse in time. The cause of the problem isn't being treated or addressed. And because the joints are still being used, often overused or abused, the problem grows. And more, often different, painkillers and masking agents become more necessary just to make it through the day, to the point of surgery or immobility. Awareness of your goal, expectation, and reality is important. Fact: glucosamine sulfate is the basic building block of connective tissues and fluids. Studies have shown that when glucosamine sulfate is given orally, within 30 minutes, 87 to 97% is actively taken from the gut into the blood. Furthermore, within 4 hours, the chondrocytes, joint cells, have actively taken it from the blood. When linked together with sulfur, chains of glucosamine become several different types of connective tissues and joint fluid. A lack of sulfur will cause the production of connective tissues to stop. In addition, an enzyme can slightly change the shape of the glucosamine so that it is also the basic building block of the chondroitin sulfates. Oral glucosamine sulfate has been scientifically shown to return people suffering from arthritis and osteoarthritis to normal function within a few weeks to months, not a few days. There are other types of glucosamine in different supplements, but they are not the same as glucosamine sulfate. Below are some facts about 2 other forms of glucosamine that are used in some joint products. Glucosamine HCl. There are no studies that show if glucosamine HCl molecule is actively taken in from the gut, or how much of it actually gets into the body or the joints. Understanding that whatever portion that does make it into the joints must undergo molecular changes before it can be used in connective tissues. The HCl molecule must be removed and a sulfate added for this type of glucosamine to actually be usable to or by a body. Furthermore, glucosamine HCl molecule is not stable in liquids, despite some companies' marketing claims. Published experiments have shown that over half of the glucosamine HCl molecule added to a liquid solution, even distilled water, will break down within 27 hours. Within 4 days, these new and different breakdown products form completely different molecules, which were 20 times larger than what was originally in the solution. All of this often happens before the product leaves the manufacturer. N-acetylglucosamine. This type of glucosamine has been proven to have no active uptake from the gut. Many of the large budget marketing campaigns are written by the marketers, who don't have a clue about nutrition, absorption, bioavailability, or effectiveness. Most doctors are not nutritional specialists and only took 1 or 2 semesters of nutrition in college. Our doctors, at MD's Choice, on the other hand, specialize in nutrition and preventative health for both human beings and animals. Educating is one of their core goals. MSM, methylsulfonylmethane, is biologically active sulfur, and the particular variety we use is based on 26 animal patents, 26 human patents, by the original inventor, Dr. Bergstrom, and his company Bergstrom Nutrition, which exclusively manufactures Opti-MSM in the U.S. They have many long-term studies, over the last 50 years, on safety, effectiveness, use, lack of toxicity, and benefits to mammals, people and animals. It has been scientifically proven impossible for a mammal to overdose on what the body doesn't use, of their MSM, which is the only type of MSM we use. It passes through. There is no toxic buildup, no known negative interaction with other medication or treatment. However, with that said, there are 5 companies in the world which have attempted to copy the Opti-MSM. 1 in Alabama, 1 in South America, 2 in China, another in some more remote third world country. Just like pies aren't the same. Apple isn't pumpkin, isn't lemon meringue, and it isn't just food or dessert versus mud. There are differences. However, in nutrition, the differences are significant and important, and are far beyond just taste or personal choices, but hit actual safety, absorption, and effectiveness issues. And those differences are really significant. More than just taste or smell. But what other ingredients are used, and what contaminants might be included in the MSM other companies make and use. Their purification process, and the care behind their manufacturing process. And at least 4 of the MSM manufacturers are in countries we wouldn't want to drink their water. So the purity and contamination of other substances should be of concern, and a valid question. Especially since MSM is a carrier for other nutrients, and was a serious concern the doctors at MD's Choice considered, when selecting the form and type we use, and the other ingredients in the products. Again, these other forms of MSM, especially those created in other countries and shipped to the USA, should be a concern. And is the reason for the questions. Where does the MSM used in your products come from? Where were the raw bulk ingredients originally manufactured? Foods containing sulfur include grains, legumes, fresh unprocessed vegetables like garlic, onions, cabbage, broccoli, and Brussels sprouts. MSM occurs naturally in all meats, fish, poultry, eggs, milk, dark green vegetables, kelp, and algae among others. For your information, as of 2008, only MD's Choice and Platinum Performance used the Opti-MSM. No other supplement manufacturer, developer, or distributor of both human and animal supplements used their MSM. And the majority of the MSM sold in the USA comes from China and places we absolutely wouldn't drink their water. So why chance using their biological carrier, MSM? As of 2017, any American supplement company claiming they manufacture their own MSM is lying. Neither U.S. manufacturer of MSM creates their own line of products. They focus on bulk, raw MSM only. Chinese-made MSM is generally not distilled but uses a crystallization process that traps contaminants. Either way, it suffers from lower purity levels, a higher presence of unwanted chemicals left from the manufacturing process, and a higher water content, which leads to decomposition and increased contamination. They also frequently use lower quality raw materials to save costs. Chinese, and other third world factories, undergo few of the health and safety inspections and safeguards. They lack the Good Manufacturing Practice, CGMP, certifications that American manufacturers are obliged to. What all was it tested for? What were the ingredients they are combining it with tested for? Because MSM will carry stuff into the body, into the bloodstream. Whatever it's attached to. So making sure there are no heavy metals or other contaminants is vital. Responsible manufacturers will also seek third-party testing for their finished products. These safeguards will ensure that each batch made is put through extensive analytics to ensure the absence of lead, arsenic, cadmium, aluminum, mercury, and microbes. For MSM, there are 4 additional tests that establish purity, quality, melting point, important to verify quality, water content. Low water content is essential for stability and shelf life. Remember these important points. Proper nutritional support can most definitely help maintain and heal joint tissues, and target other systems. Be an educated consumer. Ingredient type, their form, and quality are extremely important. Be sure that you are buying the proper building blocks. Be sure that when you use a daily supplement, you are providing nutrition, not drugs or drug activity. How does it work? Is the product formulated by real doctors? Professionals that understand the differences in nutrients and want to address structural problems, or just cover pain or mask symptoms. Patience. Remember, structural changes through non-surgery and nutrition take weeks, not days, to really be seen. Beware of one-size-fits-all doses. The amount of nutrients needed by an individual is based on age, weight, severity of the problem or deficiency, other medications and treatments, and personal goals. An athlete, attempting to prepare for their next competition, will benefit more from a slightly higher dose than the average person. In general, a younger person will need less than an older person. A large person more than a smaller body. A sedentary person less than an active one. MD's Choice Joint Supplements contain glucosamine sulfate 2-KCl, potassium. Not glucosamine HCl. Not chondroitin sulfate. No herbs. No fillers. Not some magic ingredient of the month. The MD's Choice Joint Supplements are purposefully not liquid. Because of the reality of the science. Contrary to the marketing hype, glucosamine is not stable in liquid. MD's Choice's products provide the other necessary basic building blocks to target the joint tissue. In high concentration, in forms the body can use. They do not mask the symptoms or kill the pain. However, just like the rest of the body, joints need to be fed every day. Preferably 2 or 3 times a day. Not just once a day, or every 4 to 6 weeks. Remember, the fastest, most effective, and economical way to address serious joint and connective tissue problems is to start a high-quality oral supplement before the problem exists. Preventive measures can really help a body be its very best, for the longest time. The MD's Choice Joint Formula actually helps improve the synovial fluids. But, more importantly, it also strengthens the ligaments and tendons, and all other connective tissue and soft tissues. And supplies the body, systemically, with basic building block nutrients required to help the body build healthy joint tissue. In forms the body can readily use. Yes, that's a mouthful. With the MD's Choice Joint Formula, the ingredients are generally absorbed into the blood stream within 30 to 45 minutes, and can be found in the actual joint tissue within 4 to 6 hours. That does not mean it's a quick fix or relief will happen right away. It's nutrition, not a pain blocker or masker. It means that the body is getting the basic building blocks it needs, in the forms it can use, so it can start healing faster, easier, and better than it would have without those extra nutrients. It means the pain will decrease and go away over time, as the healing occurs. In other words, the MD's Choice Joint Formula does a whole lot more, and better, than oral HA by itself. And is better for the body than symptom blockers and painkillers. However, because of the potential for pain blocking in some bodies, which oral HA has shown with some, a few customers have reported a faster positive impact when they used oral HA in conjunction with MD's Choice's joint supplement. MD's Choice has purposefully and knowingly avoided adding any painkillers and symptom blockers to their products, with the firm scientific belief that any such masking agents do not belong in a daily supplement intended for daily prolonged use. Like any painkiller, if a person is going to use oral HA, it should be limited, controlled, and only used as needed. When needed, and daily use for more than 2 to 4 weeks at a time should be avoided. MD's Choice has 3 primary joint supplements. Glucosamine, powder for horses and bodies over 200 pounds. Yes, people use the powder, mixed with a variety of liquids, it just has to be ingested the same day it's mixed. Arthrosamine beefy chewables for dogs, perfect for those under 150 pounds. The powder is recommended for larger dogs, as well as those with beef liver allergies, and arthrosamine capsules for human beings, and smaller bodies. Often used for toy dogs. The MD's Choice Joint Formula hasn't changed since 1995. It remains one of the most effective, most consistent, most bioavailable, absorbable, and best joint formulas on the market. The prices have remained the same since 1998, with discounts and rewards available for people purchasing multiple containers at the same time, including current and ex-military, current and retired FOP members, firefighters, K-12 educators, FFA, 4-H members, MMA competitors, NCAA and Olympic athletes. Because we care and know our product can help make a difference in bodies of all ages. Important notice. Since this article was originally written, new studies have proven that only glucosamine sulfate 2-KCl, potassium salt, and glucosamine sulfate NaCl, sodium salt, actually get to the joint tissues. Recent studies have shown that very little glucosamine HCl molecule gets into the joint tissue. Yet many of the glucosamine supplements you will find in national chain stores contain this form of glucosamine rather than glucosamine sulfate. Glucosamine HCl molecule does not contain a sulfur source and, therefore, has no effect on the body in that form. It is necessary for it to undergo changes before it can be used in connective tissues. The science is consistent. The HCl molecule must be removed and a sulfate added. Because of this, glucosamine HCl molecule is not sold by itself, but, rather, with other ingredients that provide the sulfur. One of the most popular things added to supplements that use glucosamine HCl molecule is chondroitin sulfate. The problem with chondroitin sulfate is that it has larger molecules, which affects how well it gets into the joints. Even with the best chondroitin sulfate on the market, as much as 70% ends up in the urine and feces. For more information on the MD's Choice products, and other high-quality supplements, which don't use herbs or any of the unproven and often money-wasting ingredients that only make a fraction of the possible difference, please visit www.mdschoice.com. Remember, Arthrosamine by MD's Choice is pure nutrition for joints. We guarantee your satisfaction within 3 bottles, or you will get your money back. That's usually 16 to 24 weeks, not just 30 days or 1 bottle, like the majority of their competitors. Please call 1-800-628-0997 with any questions or to place an order. Or, if you have free long distance, 865-380-0950 voice and 865-380-2212 fax. Dr. David Davenport, DVM, MS, CNS. As a veterinarian and certified nutritional specialist, CNS, through the American College of Nutrition, he has devoted much of his time and studies to informing and educating people about the benefits of nutrition, dangers of herbs, and the fallacy of quick cures. He believes in solutions through proper nutrition. He has spent many years in graduate coursework and research learning how to apply cutting-edge nutrition both in the development of the MD's Choice formulas, and in his practice, to clinical and preventive health care programs for both people and animals. He runs the Knoxville Pet Emergency Clinic. Dr. Jim Blackford, DVM, MS, DACVS, retired section chief, large animal surgery for the University of Tennessee College of Veterinary Medicine. As an equine practitioner, surgeon, researcher, and instructor, he understands the critical importance of connective tissue health as it relates to the overall health and longevity of bodies, horses in particular. Dr. Michael R. Bishop, MD, PhD, FACOG graduated as a pharmacist from Purdue before obtaining both a PhD in pharmacology and biochemistry and a MD from Vanderbilt. He was a clinical instructor, a published surgeon and frequent speaker at scientific meetings. Over the past several years, Dr. Bishop has turned much of his attention to preventive health. Dr. Martin DVM and CNS. Dr. Bailey, a PhD in nutrition. Dr. Leanne Blackford, DVM, DAVCS. Dr. Miller, PhD in nutrition. None of the doctors have ever drawn a salary from MD's Choice, nor are they paid endorsers, as are most in the supplement industry. MD's Choice has maintained an A+ rating with the BBB. Their results-based guarantee on joint and digestion supplements has existed since 1998. It's been estimated that over 90% of all supplements on store shelves here in America use raw materials which are the least expensive, and come from some of the most toxic places on Earth. They do this because those places tend to have the least expensive raw materials. However, the ingredients from other countries are often without any quality control or safety regulations. No testing for the heavy metals or other common contaminants, which was a serious concern for the doctors, nutritionists, and staff involved with MD's Choice products, who refused to source our raw materials used in our supplements from outside the USA and Canada for some of our amino acids. The basic rule is, we can't safely drink their water or eat their vegetables without potentially getting sick, or special vaccination shots. We steer clear, because we know that certain contaminants slowly kill people, especially the heavy metals, which many of these third world and unregulated nations regularly use still, and sadly are not tested for. MD's Choice does not want bad stuff in our body, that of our own families, the doctor's patients, or our customers. The benzenes, a listed carcinogen, is common in plants from China and many other third world countries, and is considered the second leading cause of cancer in the world. MD's Choice products are thoroughly tested, in an atomic plasma spectrograph, for up to 32 different contaminants. Testing the raw bulk, the blended product, and again with the finished product. If they don't pass, they are rejected. It's that simple. Remember, we use these products ourselves, as does our family, friends, patients, and customers, and usually takes 8 to 12 weeks from the time we order, to get in the raw materials, test, blend, test, bottle, and test yet again each batch of our products. It's the safest and best way we've found to ensure the best product we possibly can. All-out product is manufactured by ISO certified labs, which are CGMP inspected, and FDA compliant. We have dozens upon dozens of veterinarians, and some medical doctors, and thousands of end-user customers. Over the years, many have been clients and customers for 5, 10, some over 20 years. And no issues have ever been reported, hinted at, or otherwise cropped up regarding the safety of the MD's Choice products. Thank you for reading. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to call. Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Time, 865-380-0950. Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Time, 865-380-0950. We'll gladly try to answer your nutritionally related questions. And what we don't know the answer to, we can usually get one of the doctors to answer within a day or two.